Prince Harry surprises Invictus Games competitors as Finding Freedom author reveals he and William barely speak.
The boss is here.
Oh, there you go, guys. I tried to book Captain America, but I managed to get Captain Wales instead. It's the
even better.
Well, the banter certainly hasn't improved in the last few months, that's for sure.
Meghan Markle opens up about race and says it's good to be home after purchasing a mega mansion with Prince Harry.
It's something that I look forward to being a part of, and being a part of using my voice in a way that I haven't been able to of late. So, yeah, it's good to be home.
And what does that new home look like? Well, Telegraph writer KJ Yasmin takes us inside Harry and Meghan's posh new Santa Barbara neighborhood.
I think also maybe there's a little bit of, preconceived ideas maybe about royalty and, the idea that they might be a little bit uppity or something like that. So I think there was a little bit of feeling of like, why have they chosen our neighborhood and, they should stay in, their palaces and stuff like that.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Royally Us. Hello to our fellow royal lovers and welcome to Royally Us. I'm Christina. That is Molly, the host of the Diva Behavior podcast and our brand new co-host of Royally Us. Molly, I'm so excited you're going to be breaking down the royal news with me every single week.
I am so excited too, especially at such a pivotal, interesting moment in royal history. There's just so much going on week after week. It's truly amazing.
Yes, we are never lacking for content. And I feel like Finding Freedom is going to give us content for weeks and weeks to come because there's so much to talk about.
It's so exciting. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So we're going to break down all the royal news coming up in just a minute, but we want to check in with you, our royal viewers, our royal watchers who always have so much to say, and last week was no exception. So let's kick it off with Lanja says, can't wait to read the book talking about Finding Freedom. I have already bought it. Hopefully I will receive it soon. Love them. Molly, did you get a chance to read it or read some of the excerpts? What were your thoughts?
I have read a lot of the excerpts. I haven't started the book yet because I'm trying to finish a different book first, but I'm so excited to read it. What about you?
Same. I can't wait to get my hands physically on it. I've read all the excerpts, and I mean, it seems like it's causing a lot of controversy, causing a lot of conversation, and I like you said, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Okay, next one. Sanvi. Why should Kate give support? Meghan is nearly 40 years old. Kate was pregnant with Prince Louis, then gave birth to the child 1 month before Harry's wedding. Plus, she also has 3 children to take care of. So, of course, one of the excerpts that we read in the book says that Kate really didn't give Meghan that much support when she first came onto the royal family. This person says, why should Kate be doing that? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because, of course, in a perfect world, we would all be available to support each other 24/7 whenever anyone's going through anything. But I think this person does bring up a good point that Kate does have a really busy life. And another thing that maybe might be missing in the equation is the way that British people sort of socialize. This is a generalization, but it can be a little different. Like Americans are sort of like over enthusiastic golden retriever puppies when we meet a new person. And Brits are a little more like Siamese cats, I would say. They're it takes a minute to get to know a Brit and have them treat you like a sister or a best friend. So I think that might be a little part of what's missing as well.
I love that. That's a great analogy. All right. Marie says, if they want such freedom from the royal family, why do they want to hold on to the titles and continue to receive money? They want the benefits and privileges, but don't want to associate with them or be silenced, which is a translation to they want special treatment. They don't want to follow protocol or rules, but they still want all the privilege of being a working royal. So it seems like this person thinks that, Harry and Meghan want their cake and eat it too, pretty much.
Yeah, and I can understand why people feel that way, but I think it is, why not let them give it a try? Why not let them try to create a new sort of role within the royal family?
Yeah, it's time to change things up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's what they were trying to do, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see. All right, let's get to our roundup, our royal roundup. A lot of news this week. People are, like we said, are still talking about Finding Freedom, and the author, one of the co-authors, Omid Scobie, spoke out about the fact that the brothers are barely speaking. Take a look.
We saw Prince Charles publicly battle the coronavirus, and it's sometimes those concerns over the health of a family member that brings family together. And I think those are really the first moments where we saw or we heard that William and Harry had some communication again.
So are you surprised that these two are still, after months and months and months, are barely speaking?
Yeah, I think it is really surprising just because we all grew up seeing the photos of them as such close brothers and the videos of them joking around with each other. They had such a charming, close relationship from an outside perspective, but I guess we will never know the full story. So it's just something that we're going to have to keep looking at from afar.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, Omid said that, the kind of the breakdown of the relationship really happened when Harry decided to announce that they were leaving the royal family on social media and kind of like air their dirty laundry, which is something that the royals don't usually ever do.
Yeah, it's something they try not to do,
Right.
I guess.
Right, yeah. I mean, sometimes it just gets out there.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see why he would be really frustrated by that, but also at the same time, it makes sense that Harry and Meghan would want to have a voice and get their take on things out in the world as well.
Right. It's Omid also said that, they did start talking a little bit once Prince Charles was diagnosed with coronavirus earlier this year. So hopefully they get back on track. I mean, it's kind of hard, obviously, now with everything going on with the pandemic, that you can't really travel as much as you can back and forth. So who knows when they're going to be making the trip back over to London. Who knows if William and Kate will ever pack their bags and head on over to California. I don't know.
Oh, what a mental image. Kate and her kids on the beach in their little like matching British get-ups trying to get a tan in California.
Oh my God, I would love it. I would love that so much. All right. Harry also kept pretty busy, and in the midst of all this Finding Freedom press, he managed to drop in and say hello to some Invictus Games competitors. Take a look at this.
With lockdown and everything else that's been going on, and the Hague being postponed as well, surely this was an amazing opportunity for you guys to come together, not only to do the physical side, which is improving your mental fitness, but to be together as a team doing something like this and having a goal and a purpose, and to some extent a distraction from the day-to-day life.
Now, this is really cool. Obviously, Harry is, a huge support for the Invictus Games. This is kind of his passion, his baby, pretty much. Him and Archie and the Invictus Games kind of go hand in hand.
Right. It's really nice to see him still being a part of that. I'm happy that when he did sort of step out of his official role with the royal family, he was able to keep this project, which seems so important to him. And I thought it was really cool how he was speaking to athletes from Canada, Australia, and the UK, because of course he and Meghan had a position within the Commonwealth, and those are all Commonwealth countries. So it's nice to see that they're still taking that seriously. Their Commonwealth responsibilities. Yeah.
No, totally. And he did postpone the Invictus Games. They're not this year. They're going to be next year. So it's something to definitely look forward to. So hopefully they can actually get underway next year.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Okay. And Meghan was also busy this week, and she was speaking out about racism, the importance of voting, and why she is so happy to be back home. Take a look.
It's really, I haven't lived in the States for almost 10 years. I lived in Canada for 7 years for work. So it's a really long lapse in time from being here. And to come back and to just see the state of affairs, I think at the onset, if I'm being honest, it was just devastating. It was so sad to see where our country was in that moment. And if there's any silver lining in that, I would say that in the weeks that were happening after the murder of George Floyd, in the peaceful protests you were seeing, in the voices that were coming out, in the way that people were actually owning their role and acknowledging their role that they played, either actively or passively, in the discrimination of other people, specifically of the Black community, it shifted from sadness to a feeling of absolute inspiration, because I can see that the tide is turning.
So what was this for? So she actually spoke for quite some time, almost a half-hour interview, which we don't really see that often as well.
Right. It was so great to see her sort of speaking and having her thoughts made public about so many important issues. She was speaking to the 19th, which is a group that ensures that the press is covering things in sort of a fair way, which obviously is really a big issue for Meghan and Harry. It's something they talk about very frequently. So she was definitely getting her thoughts known about that. And I thought it was really great to hear her talk about some of the nuances of press ethics and how she sees it from her perspective.
Yeah, no, it was very interesting. And she, she said how happy she was to be home despite, the unsettling times and everything going on in the world. She is happy to be home and happy to kind of use her voice again, which this is not the first time that she's said that. She's kind of said in the past couple of weeks that her voice has been silenced over the past few months, pretty much. And now she's able to speak out on topics that are important to her.
Yeah, it's great. And I'm sure we're going to hear more and more from her. And something else that really surprised me that I had never really known before was when she mentioned that Harry doesn't vote. Right. And he's never been able to vote. I did not know that. And apparently it's not illegal for the royal family to vote, but they're supposed to remain impartial. So they sort of take it upon themselves not to get involved with that. So it'll be interesting to see in the future if Harry becomes a US citizen and starts voting. I mean,
that is very true. I mean, do you think that they're going to kind of take a turn into politics a little bit?
Yeah, I think even if they don't become politicians or run for office, I think we're absolutely going to be seeing them getting involved with either fundraising or advocating for different causes and stuff like that. I mean, it just seems like such a natural role.
It does. And I love trying to look in the background of their setup to kind of get a glimpse at their new home.
Yes, I know. I just want Architectural Digest to do one of those YouTube videos with Meghan walking around and being like, here's this, here's that. I just am dying for it.
Oh my God, I'm so dying for it. We're going to talk more about their home in a second, but now it is time to spill the royalty. Like I said, we're going to have more information on Harry and Meghan's new home, their future plans. But first, we got some big casting news for The Crown this week. They have found their Princess Diana.
Yeah, it's going to be Elizabeth Debicki. People might know her from Guardians of the Galaxy or The Great Gatsby. That's where I knew her from. She played Jordan Baker, the tennis player. And I really loved her in that role. I thought she had such a cool, interesting, sort of sassy, funny energy. And I think bringing that to Diana is great. I think a lot of people see Diana as sort of this shy, retiring kind of person, but people who were close with her knew that she had a really funny sense of humor and she sort of was a little naughty. So I think it's going to be great to see Elizabeth Debicki bring that energy to the role.
Totally. I mean, what do you think about them kind of always switching it up for, the fifth, because it'll be a new actress for the fifth and sixth season, right?
Right. It's Emma Corrin for the fourth season, and then they're switching it. I think it's great because I think Diana as a figure, as a historical figure, really has so many different facets to her and aspects of her personality that I think pretty much any actor could bring something new to that role. And I think it's great to just the more the merrier. I would just love to see more and more people's interpretation of Diana.
Yeah, I know that we've spoke about in the on the show before, Kristen Stewart is going to be doing it on the big screen in an upcoming movie about Diana. So there's so many people that have tried to take on this role. It's not easy. So I'm excited to see how The Crown kind of does it because they always do such a great job. It's always so beautiful.
Yeah.
I can't wait. All right. Well, speaking of Hollywood and movies and TV, it seems like we're getting a little bit more insight onto what Harry and Meghan's future may be. And it seems like they kind of want to make it big in Hollywood.
Yeah, which is really exciting. Variety, which is an incredibly reliable source, has reported that Meghan and Harry have been shopping something around. They don't really have that many details, but apparently the two of them would be joint producers on this project. Now, unfortunately for Suits fans, Meghan apparently will not be appearing in it, but I'm sure it's going to be a really interesting sort of thing.
I think so too. I feel like it's going to be some documentaries, very behind the scenes, a lot of they're very into their charities and wildlife and things like that. So maybe we'll kind of see what Meghan did for Disney. Maybe we'll see a little bit more voiceover work. I don't know. I just feel like they're going to be announcing a huge partnership with Netflix or something like that. And
yeah,
it's going to be big.
I mean, they must be the hottest ticket in town right now. I'm sure they have producers and networks banging down their door, begging them to get involved with whatever it is that's happening. So it'll be fun to see what they come up with for sure.
Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So Harry and Meghan certainly have the right location to make all of this happen because they just purchased a $14 million mansion in Montecito, California. You know, no big deal, just a $14 million home. So to help us break down the royal rules and Harry and Meghan's new neighborhood, we're happy to invite Telegraph writer KJ Yasmin to help us break it all down.
Who are some of their new celebrity neighbors? Could you maybe tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, they actually have a lot of friends already in the area. So there's Oprah. She owns a lot of property in the area, and obviously she was at the royal wedding, and she's working right now in a series with Harry about mental health, so for Apple Plus. So I think, you know, it's great to be close by if they have any meetings or anything to do. Ellen DeGeneres, also very well-known Santa Barbara resident. She was one of the first people to meet baby Archie after he was born. So when he was just a few months old, I remember she said he had a very round head. And so again, you know, for the whole family, that's great that they will have people they know. And then Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis also live there. And Ashton and Mila are actually very friendly with Harry's cousin, Princess Beatrice. They've been pictured out and about together on occasion with Princess Beatrice and one of her former partners. And so I'm sure she'd be happy to make an introduction if she hasn't already. And you know, again, and they've got young kids, I think 3 and 4, something like that. So, you know, definitely playmates for Archie. Definitely.
Okay, now I need to see like a buddy comedy of Prince Harry and Ashton Kutcher punking people.
Oh
like,
my God, yes, imagine.
Amazing. Amazing.
Nice to have friends in high places, right? What do you think, besides the neighbors and besides it being so beautiful there, why do you think that this area attracted them the most? Is it because of safety? Is it because you know they're not really around the paparazzi anymore? What are some of those big reasons as to why they chose this?
Yeah, I think being just outside LA, I think it definitely eases the pressure from the paparazzi. You're less likely to, you know, be papped the minute you walk outside your home. And also there's obviously, you know, it's by the beach. There's Brits in LA are well known for wanting to be by the beach. They tend to congregate in the beach in the coastal town. So Santa Barbara definitely makes a lot of sense. And also there's been a lot of talk about Harry and the Polo Club. So Santa Barbara does have a polo club, and Harry is well known to love playing polo. So I think it's just a 5 or 10 minute drive from where they're living. So I think for him, that's already the neighbors are saying that they think that they're going to be seeing Harry pop up there.
Wow, the Polo Club, that is awesome. You had a lot, speaking of the neighbors, in your story, you had a lot of great insight from what the locals are saying about Harry and Meghan. Could you share some of that with us?
Yeah, so certainly on the local groups, I think there's some mixed feelings. I think some people feel a little bit, you know, that suddenly the spotlight's on their town, and you know, I think like all small towns, like I think people can be a little bit insular. So I think some people are not so happy. Other people are very thrilled to have royalty living nearby. And, you know, I think the feeling generally is that they hope that, you know, the paparazzi will leave them alone and that they'll be able to have a normal, as much as possible life. And also I think, you know, I think for the local mums, they're hoping to bump into Meghan and Archie at the local Mummy and Me groups. But obviously once the situation is a bit more normal with COVID, whether that happens, I don't know. But I'm sure, you know, I'm sure they're going to settle in really well. And I think it's a very friendly neighborhood.
But you have seen some mixed messages though, like some people aren't too happy that a lot of probably attention is going to be on their neighborhood now.
Yeah, I think there were some people that just felt, you know, and I think also maybe there's a little bit of, you know, preconceived ideas maybe about royalty and, you know, the idea that they might be a little bit uppity or something like that. You know, so I think there was a little bit of feeling of like, you know, why have they chosen our neighborhood, and, you know, they should stay in, you know, their palaces and stuff like that. But I think, you know, I think generally people seem favorable, but there was another group that was a little bit more, you know, not so thrilled maybe.
I mean, do you feel like Harry's going to really fit in in California? I mean, is he like this going to be turned into this laid back California guy?
I mean, I think he maybe likes to think of himself that way. You know, he wears his like open collar shirts and he's got his bracelets, right? And he, you know, I think he likes to think of himself as a bit of a cool guy. And sure, in comparison to uptight British, you know, posh guys, he is. If he's quite as laid back as like Santa Barbara surfer dudes, I don't think so. I think there's definitely a question mark over whether he's going to fit in. I think people in Britain, you know, I think they were shocked generally by LA, and Santa Barbara even more so. You know, I think if it had been New York, there would have been a bit more of an understanding. It feels that much closer, just even geographically. You know, LA is really as far as you can get from Britain in terms of the time zone and, you know, the actual geographical distance. And I think he will come to, I suspect he'll come to miss certain things about the UK. He may enjoy, you know, the beach, the great weather there initially, but a lot of people here are concerned that he's cut himself off from his family and his friends. And even if they do know a lot of their neighbors already, people like Oprah and Ellen, you know, those people are busy too. And it's questionable how much, you know, of a friendship group he's going to find out there. I think even the Polo Club, I think it's, you know, it's mostly older people, you know, very kind of senior in business who have retired to Santa Barbara. I mean, it is actually viewed, you know, as a town for retirees and students. So it was a strange choice, I think, in terms of, you know, in terms of Harry.
KJ, thank you so much for taking the time and talking to us and giving us so much insight on this new neighborhood that they call home.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, now we're going to move on to our royal history moment of the week. And the royals celebrated the 75th anniversary of VJ Day. So take a look.
As we mark the 75th anniversary of Victory over Japan Day, to each and every one of you who contributed to the effort, I say thank you. Our country owes you a debt of gratitude. Your bravery and the sacrifices you made will never be forgotten.
So Molly, what exactly is VJ Day?
VJ Day stands for Victory over Japan Day. It's the date in August 1945 when the Allied forces had their final victory over Japan, and it was basically the end of World War II. So huge day in history. It's Americans might know it as the day that led to that famous photo of the couple kissing in Times Square. That's VJ Day. Yes,
that's VJ Day. And it seems like all the royals kind of came out to commemorate this big day.
Yeah, they did a lot. Princess Anne spoke to some World War II veterans, and she just heard their stories. And on British television that day, there were veterans on TV all day long talking about what it was like being in the UK or being in Japan during the war. And it was so amazing. It was really moving. I was watching it and like crying. I was like, oh my God, these people are heroes. It was really nice. William gave a speech as well, and Prince Charles attended a service in Staffordshire, and he also gave a speech, and he read an excerpt from his grandfather, King George VI's diary entry from that day on Instagram, which was really, really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like they did a really nice job in celebrating this big day. So yeah, and speaking of a big celebration, we also had a big royal birthday this week. Princess Anne turned 70. So do we know how the royals celebrated? I know we got some new photos of her.
Yeah, we got some new photos of Princess Anne. She got a military promotion. There was definitely a lot going on with that because 70 is, you know, a big milestone.
Yeah. So good for her. I mean, she looks fantastic too.
Yeah, she really does. Those portraits are great.
Yeah, she looks gorgeous. All right, Molly, before we wrap up, let's check in on our royal kiddos and our pint-sized palace. And we actually, us weekly, got some information on, a little bit more information on Meghan and Harry's home and how they're making it pretty special for little baby Archie. You know, we reported that he's going to have this great outdoor space with a swing set and slides. I'm sure they're going to make it fantastic for him.
Yeah, it's probably going to be amazing. I mean, I can't imagine being Archie and getting to play in this insane mansion. It sounds great.
Yeah, I'm sure he has his own wing area. So, I mean, a $14 million mansion, I'm sure he's going to be running wild.
For sure.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we heard that, you know, even though it was a hefty price tag for the house, that they are doing some renovations. She's going to be renovating Archie's room, their bedrooms, the kitchen, everything. So it seems like they're making it their own.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to hopefully seeing photos of all of that, because Meghan has shown us time and again that she has incredible interior design sense. So
I can't wait. Give us the pictures. We want them. Well, Molly, thank you so much for breaking down all things royals with me.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so much fun. Make sure you listen to Molly's podcast, The Diva Behavior, and check back every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. for Royally Us on YouTube. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week.